Superbooth 2019. I'm here with Stein from This Is Not Rocket Science.
Yes, correct.
How are you?
I'm tired, but doing well.
Already?
Yes.
We are the first day.
We are the first day, but the last day of our prototype development. So we've been building the last month to get this into its box, and yeah, I need sleep.
How long are you already in the Eurorack business?
This is our third Superbooth. So 3 years ago, we started developing all these modules, but before that, we did about 20 years of audio software development. So a lot of freeware and not even share freeware and open source projects that we share with a lot of people online. But the software market for audio has been taken over by all these big guys. So by now, it was more fun and possible to make a living by going for Eurorack.
I think I have the impression you have a lot of fun making hardware when I see the Fenix, this massive synth here. So, where is your heart? More the analog side, or more the digital from your software side, or
the heart is in music. Whatever gets the job done. If it's analog or digital, I don't care. If we have to build it from wood or metal or whatever gets the job done. If it gets an artist inspired on stage doing his thing, then I'm happy.
So you are open for projects in analog as well as digital. So it doesn't make the difference if
for anything, whatever is the best option for it. Like filters sound amazing analog, and they're very difficult to do digitally. So we can just use an analog filter. But if we want to tune it, we use a digital circuit to tune it. So it's both. It's analog and digital.
And when we talk about it's not rocket science, what can people expect from their modules? What makes them better than other modules?
Well, we take a lot of time going back to the roots of every module. Like if you want an LFO or an envelope, we really try to find out why this thing exists in the first place. Because a lot of these concepts have been developed at a time where electronics was difficult. And now we can look at the physics and measure all these things and do mathematical analysis. And then you find out that an ADSR is only 1% of the story of why we want envelopes. And then we try and come up with something that's closer to what we think it should have been. And that we do for all the modules, and spend a lot of time on that.
And I think your module design or your interfaces are always very shiny, very yellow, and
yes. Yeah, that's just me. I like colors, and it's one of the ways. We have only so many ways to get information into our brain, and color is very important to our brain. So if I can distinguish between the two things by giving them different colors, I will. What? Oh.
By the way, my random camera guy comes from the Switzerland. So we have one guy from Luxembourg, one from Switzerland, and one from the Netherlands. So that's multiculti.
Yeah.
So you have this year of the Superbooth a massive synth, I see.
Yes, the Fenix 4.
Could you describe it as Eurorack or as desktop synth?
I would describe it as desktop synth, but Eurorack compatible. It's a sort of a standalone modular synthesizer, so you could just use this one and use nothing else and be locked up in a wide room and make noises. But it integrates with everything else as well, so you can just hook it up to all the other Eurorack. There's a USB connection on the back if you want to drive it from your laptop. So that's.
So we had a lot of semi-modular or modular synths with a lot of big patch bay, but I think this one is over patch bay-ish.
Well,
how many connections are on the Fenix?
330.
Holy coly!
Yeah. And, the original Fenix 1, 2, and 3 were banana jack, and they are stackable, so they could get away with less patch point because you could stack them. So they had about 250. So we only added a few more.
There is still place.
There is still place. We will.
Space.
Yeah. We don't. No, we also need some space for your fingers, so we had to leave some.
Stein, what is based of Fenix? Is it a analog or digital, or what can we find in the?
Well, what I just said with the analog and digital, the original Fenix 1, 2, and 3 were completely analog because they were from an age where digital was barely possible to begin with. In this case, we took about 75% from the Fenix 2 device. We took all the analog circuitry and we put it in here, but we have some extra digital modules like a digital oscillator, a special probabilistics and noise generator that's nice and digital. We have a delay line which has lots of delay memory, so we can do minutes of delay in there. And the sequencer and the oscilloscope are digital. The rest is all analog.
I see you decide to make everything really nice, big, not too much crowdy, and you take a lot of space in the sequencer. And also everything is yellow or a bit yellow, orange.
The yellow knobs became sort of our brand. We almost at our first module when we found the yellow colors, yep, that's the one. So it's become almost our logo. So we had to keep that.
So the structure of Fenix is how many oscillators?
3 oscillators, but the first oscillator has like 4 oscillators built in, and then the second one is digital, so it can do stacks of 7, and the third one is a chord oscillator, so it's 3 analog oscillators built in. But there are 3 logical units of oscillators.
So we have 1 analog?
Well, 1 analog here, another analog which has 3 insides, and this one has 3 extra insides. So 7 analog oscillators and a digital block.
And did it go further to a noise generator?
This is a noise generator. It's analog noise. It has white, pink, red, blue, and purple noise analog, and it has a digital noise generator with adjustable probabilistic, so you can select normal curves or beta curves or white noise, and all seamlessly CV adjustable. So there's.
And also in the filter, I see you have decided not to put only 1 filter inside.
No, of course not. You cannot have a synthesizer this big and only do 1 filter. Part of the original Fenix concept is every filter that's in there is based on a different topology or different kind. So usually if you have a big modular system, you have 4 of the same filter. In this case, if you want to filter, you can have different characters. So there's a ladder filter that's closer to what Moog and Korg are doing. There's the multiband filter from the Fenix, and related to the Syrinx even, it's more a Formant filter. The SVF filter is inside out, in that it doesn't have low pass and high pass and outputs, but it has inputs for that. So you feed it in back way, and then there's a low pass gate for gating.
A bit more this popular idea, more of this West Coast with a gate instead of filter.
Yeah.
So on the filter side, you have pretty much everything covered, or?
We think so. Yeah, the multiband you can select the filter modes as well. So each filter that's in there, you can select between various setups.
And you can use everything at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Modulation side, we see envelopes.
Yeah, 3 envelopes. 2 of them plain ADSRs. One is an odd one taken from the Fenix 2, which is HADSR/D. It has a hold to sort of keep a peak at the top of the attack for a while. Gives a bit more punch at the top. And then there's a second decay that's triggered at the same time, so you have always one sort of natural dampening decay running in parallel to the HDSR, for which you can change the decay shape.
Then I see the wobbler.
The wobbler.
Is this coming from your module?
Yeah. This is a complete copy of the wobbler module, except for the LEDs and the attenuverters, because they were already in the system, and we had to save some space. The next one, triple LFO, is also from the Fenix 2. It has 3 phase-shifted outputs, so you can have 3 things going one by one. LFO 1 and 2, very standard LFOs, just a triangle wave or a pulse wave. Slew limiter is for portamentos, so you can have a rise time and a fall time. Mixer section, a whole bunch of you need mixers in a system like this, so they're there. The wave multiplier is a very complicated sort of sub-oscillator wave generator. Needs several pages of manual. You can use it as a distortion. You can use it to generate 4-bit waveforms. It's also from the Fenix 2. It will have videos. Then there's the wave shaper. It's wave folder and soft clipper for nice distortions. Also more West Coast than or more East Coast. I always confused the two. We have lowland synthesis from the Netherlands. That's just more pragmatic. Digital delay system. We have a bunch of different modes that were planned. They're not all finished yet. There will be digital waveguides, so you can play it in tune and make physical modeling type things. There's just normal long delay lines and more tape delay, reverb and chorus that you can do. And one that I really like to build reverb blocks is prime ratio delay lines, so you can make really dense, never resonating systems out of it.
So there's a lot of feedback included. So
yeah.
And each module I see has his own section here on the bottom.
Yeah.
also nicely colored.
Yeah, they're grouped on sound sources, envelopes, modulation, filters, and effects. So they all have each their own color, and then the shape is roughly the same over here, so you can easily find them back. Then all the jacks also have their own color coding and shape coding, so all the gates and the CVs have their own color, and it's consistent across the whole thing. And then there's the sequencer, of course.
And it's an impressive unit already only with the sound engine. So I see then you have also a sequencer inside. How is it? It has some special features, or?
There are some features that are also unique to the Fenix 2. This grid is interesting in that instead of having one output for your entire sequence, you can select one thing to happen from pin 1 and 4, and then another thing happens from 3 and 7 by interconnecting them. So you can have many different things triggering at different times.
And how with the sequence? I see a display.
Yeah, there's an oscilloscope right now there. The display will have some other things as well, like clock source with play and pause. There's 3 different clock outputs here. There's also a CV gate interface, so you can configure that for the USB side on the back. And it's now hooked up as an oscilloscope, so you can look at your signals. This needs a lot of extra software that's to be continued, but at least it already has nice curves.
Coming back to the sequence, there's no an arpeggiator or something like this included. It's a pure sequencer, right?
This is a pure sequencer. Maybe we include something like that on there because it seems like it's useful for the MIDI in option. So then we could add one to the system here, but it's not going to be in here.
And it has, as you see, 8 steps.
Yeah, but
how much in total?
This is 8 steps in total, but there are double or long steps, and you can have the variable timing. So, and maybe if we add...
you can create a far longer sequence.
Yeah, you can, but it's also not entirely decided yet. Maybe we'll add some interface for it as well. So we need to finish it off now.
Okay. And I see additional knobs here. There's tons of knobs.
Yeah. These are mostly CV mixers, so attenuverters for a bunch of CV summers. Also with precision summers, so you can accurately transpose octaves and notes. Then there's some VCAs with offsets and external inputs, and there's a master mixer with 2 channels and pan and level and a headphone output. And then there's a ringing modulator hidden and some tiny modules that only have jacks.
Then a little ring modulator included. So can you tell me what do you have not included in this system?
Oh,
I see there's a lot.
There's a lot. We have a lot more even, but it's.
Yeah, hidden in only in input and output.
No, there's a lot of stuff that we still didn't add to it because we still have more plans for future things. But this is at least the basic set you need to get going. So this is. If I were to go to an unlimited or an island somewhere, this is the synthesizer I would bring.
Okay. That's a really massive modular synth, or how should you call it? Semi-modular.
Yeah, modular synthesizer.
Modular. Stein, when we can expect it on the market, or how far is the development actually?
Well, we hope to do it within the next half year. It's well, this is the first prototype. It's only been in its box for about 24 hours. We do need to make a lot more software. We need to write the manual. Oh. And now we need to optimize for production. So we aim for half a year, but not entirely sure.
And for which customers would you recommend Fenix? Because I think for beginners it would be maybe a bit over.
It would be an expensive choice, but it's very consistent. It's easier to learn this than to learn a Eurorack. Yeah. We already have talked to several conservatoria schools, so they have synthesizer lessons. They were very much interested in systems like this. Sound designers for movies are very much into these things. Who else?
You say to me price.
Yeah.
What expecting you as price, or is something already final?
We are expecting about 5,000, but it's a bit dependent on what the factories are going to tell us how much the factories cost. So when we know exactly what it's going to cost us, we know the final price, but we aim for 5,000.
Okay. That's very personal. It's a very impressive modular synth, and the look is. When I come back, I doesn't know it. I saw it always in leaks or some PCBs, but I don't expect it that it's so huge.
Yeah. The first time I got to see it in real life, it was, oh, is it this big? It's just I've been designing on a laptop screen that's very small.
Stein, big thanks for your time.
You're welcome.
And I wish good luck and hope to see you then maybe this year on the market or next year.
Yeah, as soon as we can.
And so I'm looking also forward to hear more in sound demos or even for artists. So big thanks, and I wish a good Superbooth 19.
Yay.
It's a first day, you have 2 days more.
Yes.
So big thanks and see you in the next videos.
Yay.
Bye.
Thank you.